Disgraced Hollywood millionaire, mogul producer Harvey Weinstein in the news yet again as accusations continue to mount. This time, the NYPD opening up a criminal investigation based on an allegation of sexual assault going back 13 years.
I'm not doing okay.
You're not?
I'm trying. I got to get help.
I want to check in with friend of the show, retired Detective Sergeant Joe Giacalone, for some insight on this issue. Joe, as a part of the investigation, the NYPD is saying they are on an active search for victims. How are they going about that?
Sure, all complaint reports are put in a database. So if his name shows up as a perpetrator or alleged perpetrator, they'll be able to figure it out.
Joe, they're calling him a super predator. What does that mean?
Yeah, I think they're just throwing that name around because all these women are now coming forward. So we saw this with Bill Cosby. We saw it with a couple of these individuals where everyone comes out after the first person is brave enough to say, this is what happened to me.
Joe, in 2004, there was a claim filed alleging sexual assault. Why was nothing done?
And the one that we're talking about, they got the control call. They got what they thought was probable cause. And the district attorney didn't want to prosecute. So, I mean, the job of the police is to gather enough information to make a prosecutable case. According to the district attorney, it wasn't enough.
Thanks, Joe. Always good to get your expertise on issues like this. Appreciate it. All right, let me bring in our A-plus panel for this evening. I'm joined by Bill Caruso, political strategist. Bill, welcome back to the show. Good to see you. And political strategist Jeanette Hoffman. Always good to see you, Jeanette. And former Mayor Wayne Smith. Jeanette, let me start with you on this. I mean, these are very heavy allegations. Let's just... First of all, put this in context for people. I mean, how do you feel hearing all this? It's accusation after accusation. Now you got a criminal investigation.
It's absolutely horrific, Bill. I mean, I can't even imagine how this has gone on for 3 decades or so, and no one has said anything. And I'm not victim blaming here, because the victims, this is horrific. You know, I can't even imagine this happening to me. But it's supposedly the worst kept secret in Hollywood. So how did these big stars who praise Harvey Weinstein, who's given, mind you, millions and millions to the Democratic Party, how did they not come forward and say, this is wrong, this guy is doing some really terrible things to women here? I mean, these are Hollywood liberals who supposedly support women.
Bill, what about the prosecutors in New York? I mean, now we're 13 years after someone is alleging that she was forced into sexual activity, you know, by this guy who bullied her into it. I mean, what do you say to that?
Yeah, there are interesting revelations we're starting to learn here about the influence that Weinstein was able to peddle around, and it is not just within the industry. I think the political side is a red herring. I'm focused on how do people in the industry not know and not report this? Not the victims, by the way, but people in positions of power. How did they not know this? And now we have people in law enforcement, right? The district attorney who may have had donations made by Weinstein's lawyer to the DA. What went on there? I mean, there's a whole separate question that goes on. And then there's frankly questions that we ask the folks that we entrust in keeping these stories out there.
Wait, what about, what do you say about your candidate, Hillary Clinton, taking 6 days to give the money back? I mean, she was all over the NRA after the horrific massacre in Vegas, yet she waits 6 days? 6 minutes to 6 days, exactly. What do you say to that?
Well, I think that's really a non-starter, but what's more important, we look at this time period, and you had a guy who's serving as president of the United States who during his career says he was a misogynist to women.
No, he wasn't.
Listen, he said, I
Jeanette, is that
I,
fair?
you know what?
kiss him.
I don't defend.
I do.
I
Listen,
do not defend his comments.
Well, don't defend him then.
But
well, go ahead.
he's an accused rapist. Harvey Weinstein. It's not fair to compare the two. This man is facing real prison time.
When people don't come
He's an
forward,
accused racist.
Powerful men get away with it.
Well,
so
and I think more people should come forward. I think
Donald
the Democratic
Trump
Party should come
said
forward.
he did it, but this is not a party
Is
issue.
that
We're talking about an individual.
a fair comparison, Bill? You know, a guy being accused of saying something on a tape versus a guy being accused of rape?
Listen, I am extremely troubled by the fact that we elected a person that admitted on tape that he was involved in acts of that one, but I don't want to lose sight of what we're dealing with here with Weinstein. I think we have a problem, and I'll take blame for this on our side of the aisle, that we want to blame Trump for everything. I think there's a lot of good things we can blame Trump on related to policies that aren't being done at the national level. But on this one, I want to really stay focused on this predator.
Jeanette, as a woman, and you hear all these things, is it comparable, Trump to Weinstein?
Absolutely not. I mean, we're going to hear more about what comes out with Weinstein, but I just want to point out, this is a guy who was raising millions of dollars for the Democratic National Party. The DNC said they'll return $30,000 of his contributions.
The money's
$30,000 out of $300,000.
All right, guys, we could talk about this all night. I would like to, but got to leave it there.